It's a blessing to be up here, to be able to look at your faces, particularly during meditation. And I was contemplating, how can we do this next year as we're delving into the collective? How can we give each of us the opportunity to see us? I don't know how to answer that, but I'd love to make that happen sometime. The power and the joy and the peace of watching the collective meditation is really moving. As is the burning bowl ceremony of release. The burning bowl is, many of you know, a sacred ritual that we can actually use any time of day, any time of year, any time of century, because it's all about setting an intention and then having a physical follow-through that plants that into our bodies. How many people have participated in a burning bowl ceremony before? Yeah, so most of us are pretty familiar with this. If this is your first time, again, welcome and see how it works. In this release of letting go of those things which we have held to be negative or painful or oppressive or holding us back, we have the opportunity to be made whole, to be washed clean in the love and the peace of Spirit. As St. Paul says in Romans chapter 12, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. The renewing of our minds is what the burning bowl ceremony is intended to support. So as we look back on 2017, what do we see? What do I hold in mind and heart that brought me goodness? And what beliefs can I build upon to increase the goodness of my life? Be it more love, life, health, prosperity, connection. Also, as I look back and as we look back, where did we miss the mark? What could we have done a little better? Could we be kind to ourselves more? What do we need to let go of? Whom do we still need to forgive? Or from whom do we still need to ask forgiveness? Most importantly, what can we do now in this new year to more closely live from our divine essence? Because this is indeed our greatest treasure, our greatest power for goodness, our connection to the God within. In the second book of Timothy, St. Paul writes, I love this, in a well-furnished kitchen, there are not only crystal goblets and silver platters, well, some people's kitchens, but waste cans and compost buckets. Some containers are used to serve fine meals, and others to take out the garbage. Become the kind of container God can use to present any and every kind of gift to His guests for their blessing. Let us become the kind of container God can use to present any and every kind of gift to His guests for their blessing. So for this ceremony to be effective, we want to do three things. Number one, we want to be willing to forgive ourselves for our mistakes. The past is over. Let forgiveness wipe away all our tears. Number two, having become willing to forgive ourselves, we become willing to forgive everyone. It may be somebody in our lives personally. It may be a political figure we dislike or we fear. It may be something that happened, a story we read that we felt an injustice occurred, some other part of the world. We can begin to forgive everybody. And then thirdly, we tell a new story. So the old story contained the unhappiness that led to the requirement for forgiveness. So the new story is a story where we live our lives without ever taking offense. We live our lives allowing God to be in charge regardless of what goes on. So don't you agree that unless you let go of the past, there will be no mystery about the future? And why is that? Because our lives will be just like the movie Groundhog Day. Anybody have that experience where you are having something going on in your head? You're like, I've been here before. I've had this movie running in my head before. I'm stuck on the reruns. So isn't it wonderful to have a process where we can extract ourselves from the reruns and we can leave behind resentment and anger. We can leave behind fear, guilt, what ifs. We can abandon insecurities, inferiorities. Isn't it really exciting to think instead about new possibilities, new adventures, new openings, new connections? So to experience healing and wholeness, what do we have to be willing to do? We have to be willing to give up our attachment to the self that has made mistakes, experienced failure, suffered illness, grew up poor, messed up, feels victimized, was betrayed, rejected, was once unpopular, once falsely accused, did not get the love that we wanted. Who here wants to unblock emotions, release pain, gain new insight, feel lighter, open to more intimate relationships, feel compassion to ourselves and to others, to feel secure, achieve peace of mind, have more happiness, begin again? The world has finished with our past, if you have. It's your opportunity. The world has already let it go. It's our opportunity now to let it go. So we have an affirmation that we would like to begin the work of doing this release. The affirmation is, the world has finished with my past, and so have I. The world has finished with my past, and so have I. Together, the world has finished with my past, and so have I. So I'm asking our ushers to pass out the flash paper. Now the flash paper, for those of you, this is like really tiny, skinny tissue paper. So it's very fragile. So please just take a piece and take a pen if you don't have one of your own. And when that's completed, we will begin the process. Joyce, did you get one? Okay. Okay, so I think everybody's got, but anybody not have a piece of flash paper? Rhoda needs a piece of flash paper, please. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so today we're going to have a 3-step process where we will offer up the things that no longer hold a healthy and meaningful purpose in our lives. The 3 areas of release that we will consider are personal, community or family, and global. So I will guide you through each part. You may have more to write in one area than another, but overall you will find the time allotted will be enough for you to complete the release. And because this is not exactly biblical in size, don't worry if you don't get everything written down. So just use shorthand or brief sentences or words, rather, phrases to symbolize the deeper thoughts that you're releasing. And you can write on both sides, maybe. So are we ready to be transformed by Spirit? I guess one of us is. Okay. We're ready. Okay. So at the top of this piece of paper, please write, I release. So in the area of the things of personal matters, begin writing down these thoughts, your thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, and actions that no longer serve you personally. Anything that prevents you from living your highest potential, from living the full glory of the Christ presence. This may include fears, illness, resentments, anger, guilt, shame, weight, addictions, smoking, sugar, alcohol, drugs. It may include depression, belief in lack, feelings of inferiority, or old conversation tapes like, I'm not good enough, I'll never be successful, I can't find my true purpose. Or beliefs like, I'm too old, too tall, too fat, too thin, too dumb, too smart, too inadequate, too slow, too fast, etc., etc. All of the twos, the terrible twos. So take time now in the sacred silence to write out what you want to release from your personal life. Another minute or so to finish up this section. So can we make an agreement, by the way, that whatever it is that we've written down will stand for all the things we wish we could have written down? So just know that in God consciousness, God mind, all of those intentions are represented by what we write down. So let's go to the second area of release for the community, the family. Let us look at community release. Community could be your church community, your neighborhood, your political community, your community of friends and family. Take time now to consider yourself in relationship to others. Jesus told us that the greatest commandments were to love God and to love our neighbors as ourselves. Consider what we are willing to let go of right now in the name of love to contribute to the health of our family or our community. Is there someone you felt angered by, abandoned by, betrayed, or dishonored by? Are you holding on to judgments, criticisms, regrets, forgiveness? Consider a brother, a sister, parent, child, loved one, co-worker, boss, or employee. Let us take some time now to write down those things that affected us in our community that we choose to release for this new year. So now I invite us to turn our awareness to global release. Consider that no man or no person is an island. Who are you in relationship to our nation, to our world? Are we holding thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or actions that prevent us from contributing to the wholeness of the world? Prejudices, racist thoughts, sexism, ageism, violence, hatred, abuses, fear of other. In the next few moments, let us consider and write down what we are willing to release in the name of love so that our world can be further healed through us. What am I willing to release so that I can be a healing to the world? So let's finish up. In order to do this and meet fire code, what we're going to do is we're going to row by row come up and put our intention in the burning bowl, and we'll burn them all at once. So what I invite you to do is to twist them, like say, and just come up and deposit them in the bowl. And we'll just start with the front rows, and just come on up. Keep it coming. Don't be shy. So I'm going to say a group affirmation for all of us, and I'm going to only ask you to repeat the last line together. Today I turn away from old habits of limitation, and I replace them with spiritual truth. God's grace sets me free from mistakes of the past and the results of those mistakes. My life is cleansed, and I am transformed by the power of Spirit within me. The affirmation I'd like us to say together is the last one. My life is cleansed, and I am transformed by the power of Spirit within me. Together, my life is cleansed, and I am transformed by the power of Spirit within me. So, Suzanne, I will ask you to, with that affirmation, we are going to now physically release all of these intentions that we all collectively chose to let go of this world and make ready for 2018. Wait a minute, I forgot one. Right, Suzanne has no more eyebrows. But feel that energy. Feel that release energy. That's what we're talking about. So we thank God for this opportunity to prepare the way for 2018. Now there's one last thing that we want to share. In order to make this even more interesting, Cherie talked about this last week, and this is the letter to ourselves. So we're not going to do this in the service today because we don't have enough time, but at the back of the room there will be a letter. It says, "This is the year I affirm, January 2018," and an envelope. And I invite you to take this piece of paper and envelope and turn your attention to the new good that you want to see for yourself in the new year. Write a letter to yourself affirming 2 or 3 of the joys that you intend to achieve this year. Write them as if your new good has already happened. When you do that, please then address the envelope to yourself, including zip code. And then we'll place it in, there'll be a basket in the back table for the next couple of weeks for people to bring in and put them, the sealed letters, to yourselves, and we will mail these to the congregation in the fall. So that we can now then look back and see the power of intention. What did we say, and what did we and God create in the ensuing 9 or 10 months? So please feel free to take a piece of paper and an envelope. Write the affirmations for yourself, put it in the envelope and bring it back, and we will mail this out to everybody next year. Is there any question about how to do this? I'm trying to be clear as possible, reading what Cherie said to write. What's that?
Do you want a stamp on the envelope?
You do not need to put a stamp on the envelope, but if you choose to, that's you get special brownie points for that. Suzanne will spend a special letter for the IRS, although I guess that changes. That changes next year. So, are we reading this together? Are we reading this together? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to close out by reading the poem that was handed out. This is the year together. So if anybody didn't get it, please hold up your hand and we'll make sure you get one. Oh, wait a minute, you're right. Sorry. I forgot the offering. So while the ushers come down, those of you who didn't get a poem, please raise your hand and we'll make sure that you get one. See, I'm not a bona fide minister. I didn't even think of the offerings. You get trained on that at the ministerial school.
You're going to be kicked out of the Unity Church.
No doubt.
Okay. I want to thank all of you. Am I on, Bob? There we go. Now I'm on. No eyelashes, no eyebrows, but I'm here. I want to thank all of you for sharing your financial gifts this whole year. Without your financial gifts, we wouldn't have this spot. We wouldn't have Cherie. We wouldn't have Sharon. So we just we wouldn't be able to give back to our Unity community as we have. So thank you so much. And part of that is I also want to acknowledge and thank our wonderful volunteers. Throughout the year, they have made this Sunday service wonderful and beautiful. And it does take a village. And I want to thank, we all thank Sally and Ronnie, and Sylvia, Nancy and Doug, Dan and Jan, Janice, Joyce, Layla, Rhoda, Linda, Della, Bob and Tom for sound, Sharon for our music, and all these people have done setup, cleanup, hospitality, flowers, and the book table. And I also want to thank my fellow board members. We have had an amazing year. And also a wonderful Sharon. I think I mentioned Sharon, but you deserve 2 mentions. And of course Cherie. And she's not here today. Oh, and I'm sorry. Oh dear. I'll be doing another one of those flash things. Okay. Jacqueline and Kirsten as our chaplains through all year have stayed with you and have offered their prayer support. So thank you all.
Can you thank the board?
Can you thank the board? Oh, board. Claudia, Catherine is standing up. Pete, Bob is in the back. My fellow Marty is here. So you are welcome. It is our privilege as always. So now we get to take your financial gifts in your hand, and I want to bless it. We want to bless them as we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give. However we want to do it, we can do that. Yeah. Oh dear.
God is the source.
God is the source, and I am the channel. Okay, let's do the offering. And then you can turn my sound off, Bob.
Are we ready? Well, Divine Presence, we bless these gifts in the name of the community, the men and women of Capital City Unity who are sharing their prosperity with this ministry and with one another. And we know that these gifts are going to do great work in 2018. And so it is. Amen. Now, let's take our poems in hand. So this poem is addressed from a person to a second person. So let us say this poem to one another. To the you would be our fellow congregants. Together, wonderful, wonderful, fortunate you. This is the year that your dreams come true. This is the year that your ships come in. This is the year you find Christ within. This is the year you are glad to live. This is the year you have much to give. This is the year when you know the truth. This is the year when you find new youth. This is the year that brings happiness. This is the year you will live to bless. Wonderful, wonderful, fortunate you. This is the year that your dreams come true. And so it is. So I think in celebration of the release and the opening to the new possibilities that we generated today. Will stand and close by singing our peace song. And as we release 2017 and we go forth into 2018, let us know that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God, wow, paging Dr. Freud, starting over. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Happy New Year!